Hey, girl.
Hannah!
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Just having the time of my life. Beautiful, sunny Key West, you know?
Right? I know. We got our cocktails.
Yeah, my rainbow Love is Love hat.
Love it. Need it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Hannah, I am so happy that you were able to join us today. And for the viewers out there, first of all, thank you for tuning in. We have a powerhouse lineup ready for you in Key West. But I do just want to say this day is extra special to me because I get to join my partner in crime, Hannah Willard, today as the MCs of this Key West block. Hannah was a part of the Equality Florida team. For folks who may not know, she was our marriage czar during the fight for marriage equality.
That's the best title I've ever had, by the way.
Exactly. More czars is what I've heard. And then she was also our senior public policy director after that. And she is now with the amazing national LGBTQ organization, Freedom for All Americans. So this is just such a treat for me, Hannah. And I'm so happy that you're here with us.
I'm really excited to get to be here. You know, I often have joked that Equality Florida is my first love. And I'm only half joking, for real, because this was really the place that I fell in love with advocacy and for fighting for our community, and knowing that Equality Florida is on the front lines defending the LGBTQ community and advancing equality for all of us. It's just such an honor to get to raise funds for this life-changing organization and to get to be here with you also on Lesbian Visibility Day. I mean, hello.
And I think it's probably pretty perfect for our segment.
I think you're right. We've got some fun stuff coming up. It's going to be good.
We do. And we have also some great live entertainment coming up. Yes. We have award-winning musicians and singers here with us. And I think that's what the folks are ready for, you know?
I think you're right. I think we can go ahead and get started. The other exciting thing, though, to preview is that the Safe and Healthy Schools Project is going to be coming on during this segment, too. And that's one of my absolute favorite programs of Equality Florida. I just think that the work of changing hearts and minds really does start from the ground up. And so I'm excited to hear from that program later, too.
Absolutely. Love it. I'm ready, Hannah.
Let's do it.
I am just... We've got the drinks. We've got the company. We're ready.
Cheers. Let's do it. So we are going to introduce our first entertainment act, Colleen Orender. She is a Nashville recording jazz and blues artist. Hello, Colleen.
Hi. How are y'all?
Great. How are you?
I'm doing well. I like your hats.
Thank you. Well, we just decided to go all out. You know, we don't like to
I wish I was from Key West.
I know. We actually do wish we were really there, but who do you have with you today?
This is Chris Collier. He's my guitarist in Nashville.
Fantastic.
We're normally together once a week in Nashville, but obviously everything's a little thrown off.
Yes.
But
right.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we are excited to hear you perform.
Yeah, and thank you for being here with us for this really innovative event to try to bring music to the community to stay connected during this tough time. So if y'all are ready, you can go ahead and take it away.
Sure.
Awesome.
Thanks. Baby, how my soul is weary. My soul is weary. My soul is weary. How, yeah. My soul is weary. I'm beaten down from all my misery. Oh Lord, yeah. Who's gonna come for me now? I said my soul is weary, I'm beaten down from all my misery. Hold on, who's gonna come for me now? Well, Bella, baby, Bella, see the end, well, Bella, baby, say, oh. Yeah. yeah. My home is a wreckage, my family drowned in blood and poverty. Oh Lord, yeah, who's gonna come for me now? I said my home is a wreckage, my family drowned in blood and poverty. Oh Lord, who's gonna come for me now? Well, be like baby, and I see the da will be like baby. So say on a day, be like be a bye. Said on a day. Oh, tell me who's gonna come for me now? Said on a day, be like baby, a baby. Said on a day. You tell me who's gonna come for me? No. We're gonna do an original. This is one of my singles. You can get it on Spotify and iTunes and Amazon. It's called I Don't Give a Damn About Love. You've been hanging around a while. Your friends are in my business. You throw your pretty things like diamond rings, but I like my rocks with whiskey. You're waiting for a sign, but I don't give a damn about love. Don't trust me with your heart. I drop it or lose it. Bruises look so lovely in the dark. They won't get confused with broken parts and little pieces of excuses. Loving words are so absurd when they don't have any uses. Don't mess with me, 'cause I don't give a damn about foolish things and all the fools it brings. Silly flowers for the girls, foolish dreams, oh worrisome flame. Your push came to shove, and I don't. No, I don't give a damn about love. Don't ask me to dance. I'll only step on your feelings. You move just like a gentleman, but you don't have no reason. 'Cause you don't see that I don't give a damn about foolish things and all the fools that bring. Silly flowers for the girls, foolish dreams, oh worrisome flame. Your push came to show, and I don't. No, I don't give a damn about love. Oh, I don't give a damn about love. Oh, no, I don't. Foolish things and all the fools it brings. Silly flowers for the girls. Foolish dreams, oh, worry simply. Your push came to shove, and not though. I don't give a damn about love.
Yeah, Colleen Orender original right there.
We're gonna do another original.
Once I tune up, y'all.
A little tuning because we care.
We tune because we care in Nashville.
That's right.
Some people forget. Which one again?
You want to do Matthew Feed or
Yeah,
to Get You Back?
Matthew.
This is my other single. It's getting some NPR play, and they said we can continue.
Yeah,
cool. So 45. Cool. This is called The Mouth You Feed. Ladies, we can get greedy and shady when the lights go down. Don't get lazy or your man turns needy. You better watch out when you let him out. You better watch out when you let him out. 'Cause you can't trust nobody with your feelings. You can't let nobody near your man. You can't let nobody out your sugar. That mouth you feed will always bite your head. That mouth you feed will always bite your head. Daddies can be delicious, but they're gonna let you down. Even your mama, she looking suspicious. You better watch out when you let him out. Yeah, you better watch out when you let him out. 'Cause you can't trust nobody with your feelings. You can't let nobody in your name. You can't let nobody out your sugar. That mouth you feed will always bite your head. That mouth you feed will always bite your head. Ain't it a shame? Oh, ain't it funny, funny? You treat them well, feed them well, but always keep him hungry. Ooh. Hey. You can't trust nobody with your feelings, and never let nobody near your bed. You can't let nobody out your sugar. Ooh, that mouth you feed will always bite your head. That mouth you feed will always bite your head. Just a little knowledge to spread around the world. No. Don't trust nobody with your feelings.
What do you want to close with?
You want to do Get You Back?
Yeah. I'm going to get you.
Yeah, I think it's under I. We haven't
Songs.
done that one in a while. We're going to do another
songs.
original. This one's not out yet. Should be soon this summer, we hope. It's called Get You Back. Hola, your love was warm and tender. It hurts me to remember all the things you say we we do. Your lips were mine forever. Nothing could sever the bond we knew. Now let's accept it. You're never tripping. It happens every time I rise. I'm gonna get you back, just like the day you left me. When you try to forget me, I wanna get you back. Oh, lover, watch the heart. It's like you tried to bury the nothing that you have to prove. I feel it when I rise. I'm gonna get you back, just like the day you left me. When you try to forget me, I wanna get you back. No more foolish things. Now the tables change. When you feel my rain, ooh, ooh, I'm gonna get you back, just like the day you left me. When you try to forget me, I wanna get you back. I wanna get you back, just like the day you left me. When you try to forget me, I wanna get you back. I wanna get you back. Thanks for having us. This was our pleasure. You can find me on all my socials, of course, Spotify, iTunes. My name is right there. Right there.
Instagram, Facebook, everything.
Instagram, Facebook. Please follow me and all the things.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
I am melted butter right now.
Oh,
I listen to that all day. Your voice is incredible. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Of course, our pleasure.
So Instagram, Facebook,
Yes.
Spotify, Colleen
Stalk you. Do all the things. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you both so much for joining us today. We so appreciate it.
Hopefully we can come back anytime.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Wow.
What?
Brittany, is this like a preview of what we have in store for this block? Because I was not prepared.
I think so. I know. More drinking is required right now. It was so good. I think we also decided we'll just have Colleen on for the rest of the time. So we can only do so much here, Hannah.
Yeah, just pipe up in the comments if you're okay with Colleen coming back indefinitely.
Exactly.
Incredible. Well, today is a fundraiser, is it not?
It is. It is. It's a time for togetherness.
Yes.
Especially you all in Key West. I love being here with you today. But it is also, yes, we are here to support the very important work of Equality Florida. And right now, if you go to equalityflorida.org/Equality Live, you can donate today and all of your donations will be quadrupled. That's right. That's super rare. You know, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation has been so wonderful in providing a matching grant that they have also inspired other really generous donors like the John D. Evans Foundation. So now because of those two wonderful folks, we are quadrupling all donations. So please head over and donate what you can, because you are the reason why we're able to do this important work that we're doing. Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is such a unique opportunity. And I think about right now, you know, the fact that there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of fear. And so we know that not everyone can give. And we know that all of you participating in this with us, being part of this with us, is really special to have you be part of our community. But if you are able to give, we need you now more than ever. And we are grateful in advance for what you can do.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Hannah.
No worries. So we have a next little exciting segment here. Reminder that we are reporting live from Key West. I don't just naturally walk around my house like this. Do you walk around your house like that, Brittany? No? Yes?
It depends on the day. So
maybe sometimes. Well, we are in our Key West finest because we are celebrating the Key West community right now. And we've got two major VIP guests today. We have Key West Mayor Terry Johnston and Monroe County Mayor Heather Carruthers. Welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
And just in time for Lesbian Day of Visibility. That's today. So it's perfect. Yeah.
4 for 4 right here. It's amazing. And we really are so grateful to have y'all on. I know this is an incredibly busy time, particularly for local elected officials. So to have you available to join us, to talk about the good work that you all do, and to talk about Equality Florida means a ton. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
So, of course. So I think we can go ahead and get started with really just a question for you, Terry, about, really what makes the Key West community so special.
Well, I think anybody who has been to Key West, first of all, gets a different vibe. We came here about 22 years ago from Chicago, and it was just a different feel. It was so inclusive. It was so connected. It was interesting. It's artsy. It's just a community that people really want to be involved in. So you have to come down to experience, really.
It's been a long time. Last time I was down was for an Equality Florida event. So I think I've gotten to experience Key West from a particular perspective in that way, because y'all just have such a generous community too. But yeah.
Absolutely.
Heather, add anything about Monroe County though? I mean, certainly you have so much to offer in the entire Florida Keys.
Oh, we do. The Florida Keys are a really unique environment. I mean, there's no place else like it in the world, as far as I'm concerned, and certainly not in this country. It's funny, when Terry was talking about coming down here, I remember we moved down here from New York, and the year before, well, actually it was 6 months after the vacation when I said, okay, this is it, we got to move here. But I subscribed to the Key West Citizen, and I knew this was the place for us when there was a front page story about the city engineer who was a lesbian and had just given birth to twins. And, and I thought, hey, this is on the front page of the local newspaper. This is the place I want to be.
Wow.
And the entire Keys are like that. I think I just lost you for a second. The Keys are just like that. Differences don't really don't make a difference in terms of how people treat you. People look at you in terms of what you're bringing to the table, your energy, and your commitment to this place. And that's true through the whole 120 some miles long of our county. And on top of it, the environment is just spectacular. In 10 minutes, no matter how hard you work, you can feel like you're on vacation when you walk out back. So it's a great place to live.
That's incredible.
Absolutely.
It really does make me think about how, sorry, Brittany, just.
Oh, no, go for it.
What an amazing invitation to the Monroe County, to the Key West community, to see representation like that. And I do think, we really did not plan this, but this has been the, week of visibility for a particular segment of our community. And it does just make me feel really grateful for elected leaders who are living their lives as their truest and most authentic self. So I'm sure you get that gratitude a lot, but I would just extend it to you on behalf of me. I think.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and speaking of the Key West community too, unfortunately, because of the coronavirus, we weren't able to host our gala this year. But I do just want to take a quick moment to recognize this year's Key West Voice for Equality Award honoree. And so that is the wonderful and amazing LGBTQ champion, Congresswoman Debbie McCrystal-Powell. So we are so happy, and we wish we could be celebrating in person, but just want to give a special shout out to Representative McCrystal-Powell, and also thank our sponsors as well, because again, our work would not be possible without our generous sponsors who make this all happen. So thank you all so much for that. Definitely shows how wonderful the Key West community is.
Well, yeah, and speaking of sponsors, I mean, we're gonna have to have just a massive Key West gala next year, right? Like the Truman Little White House is going to be open, and it's the longest running gala in the state. It's the only gala in the state where you can wear shorts. I mean, hello, how fun. So I think that garden,
we're all dressed for it, really. I mean, we're representing all the Key West colors.
We're ready. I just think that's going to be iconic next year. So I'm looking forward to it already.
It is. We're going to have pent up energy. So it is going to be a gangbuster. I don't know how many of you have been to the Truman Little White House, but it's an incredible historic site in Key West. And it draws some of the most generous people in the Keys for this event. People that you never knew supported the LGBT community, but just outstanding individuals that have been there year after year after year.
Yeah, Terry's right. It's always surprised. Well, maybe it doesn't surprise me, but I think it would surprise other communities to know that some of our most generous sponsors down here are not even members, as it were, of the LGBT community. And that's what makes the Key so special. I think per capita, we are among the top 3 generous communities in the country. So it's a great place to be.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of generosity too, I mean, that's really the theme of, I think, this event and just what's going on right now in this time of crisis. And I know the Key West community especially has been so wonderful in coming together to help and support one another. And so, Mayor Carruthers, I would like to turn this over to you with a question is, what are some of the greatest needs that you're sort of seeing for LGBTQ residents in Monroe County and just, your residents in general right now?
Well, I think in Monroe County, we're pretty lucky in terms of the county and the city and the protections we've been able to provide for most people in terms of legal protections and support. I mean, we're in the midst of a crisis right now that is impacting everyone. And certainly we have a lot of people in our community who have specific needs in terms of health issues, and they have to be particularly careful about this virus. And we also have a lot of people in the entertainment and service industry here, and that is hurting very badly. And we really need to work hard to get a lot of these benefits that have been promised by the state and the federal government down here. And we've been pushing as much as we can. And it's a very delicate balance, this health of humanity versus the health of the economy that we're trying to achieve right now. I think on a broader basis, why we need the work of Equality Florida is because we seem to be coming up against some forces that we thought had long quieted in terms of respect for us and our rights. And clearly, there's been a divisive thread in this country, certainly for the last 4 years, that we need to turn back and understand that the constitutional rights provided for Americans are provided for all Americans.
Absolutely. And, oh yes, please.
Well, I couldn't agree more with Heather. There's an element of hatred and divisiveness, as Heather has mentioned, that has crept into our society. And we're known, you all know our motto in Key West is one human family. And that's how we live. And that's why we're so taken aback when you do get these types of attitudes that are popping up, as Heather said it in the last 4 years. But we do have needs. Our food banks right now are just running at a capacity. I talked to one nonprofit late last week, and they had given out in one day what they normally had distributed in a year in previous times. And we have rent abatements that we need. Key West has a whole host of minimum wage individuals in the service industry, barbacks, servers, people that are just getting by. And we closed down our bars and restaurants on St. Patrick's Day. So they've been out of work for a considerable amount of time. Many employers right now are getting their PPP payments, so they're able to bring some people back, you know, in order to clean and prepare for when we are ready to open up to the public. But it's a very difficult time for everyone right now.
Yeah. I just think about the amount of loss that so many people are experiencing. You know, of course, there's loss of life, but there's also, and that is really, the magnitude of that is really difficult to comprehend. But, you know, the loss of income, the loss of certainty, the loss of, you know, even the high school and college graduations, there's loss of so much. And I think one of the things that is sort of counterintuitive is that in this time, we haven't lost our ability to connect with each other, right? We really have found new and innovative ways to stay connected. This event is obviously an example of that, but you know, I think it's been exciting to see how people have found ways to stay connected. And I wonder if, Heather, if you could talk a little bit about how your constituents are staying connected right now.
Well, I think Terry will agree that our constituents seem to know where we are any time of the day or night.
I bet that's true.
So, yeah. And, you know, that's part of what local politics is about, is it's very immediate. You know the people that you're working for, and that's also what makes it gratifying. So we've been able to connect certainly through things like this, through Zoom meetings. I mean, even my 3-year-old is participating in Zoom classes, which is funny, by the way. You know, that you talk to people across the street. You know, you still see your neighbors. They walk by. You have these porch front discussions. You know, we're still keeping in touch. FaceTime. It's pretty interesting. It's not exactly the same as what we're used to, you know, but at least we now have technology to be able to help us bridge that gap that we're missing in terms of actual touch and being with people in the way we used to be. But it's interesting and it's fun. It is fun. One word of wisdom: make sure that everyone is always wearing pants when you're doing a Zoom meeting.
And everybody in your households knows that you're on a.
Oh, we lost you for a second there, Terry.
Yeah, it's funny. I already work remotely with the National LGBT Advocacy Organization that I'm with, Freedom for All Americans, and a lot of the team at Equality Florida works remotely too. So it's been interesting to have people across the country really catch up to what our workday has always been, right? Like the Zoom meetings have always been the default, and the conference calls, and the lack of office settings. So I've been sending my condolences to people that are just now experiencing Zoom for the first time. But it's a real learning curve for sure. I think you got caught up, Mayor Johnston. You want to?
Oh no, I was just going to agree with Heather and tell her that Zoom meetings have also taught us to tell everybody in your household that you are on a Zoom meeting, so nobody's dashing behind you naked. Nobody is, you know.
Exactly. And I think the issue now is too that everything is also recorded or somehow finds its way on TikTok or Facebook or Instagram. So you got to definitely make sure you're wearing pants on Zoom calls for sure.
Well, I do have one other question for both of y'all, which is, and you've talked a little bit about this, but just about the role of Equality Florida in this moment, like the role of LGBTQ advocacy organizations, and I think why this organization's role is different in this moment of crisis. And I don't know which one of you wants to start off. Perhaps Terry, if you want to.
I'll take that. First of all, the Equality Florida organization in Key West is just such a uniting organization and a supporting organization, educational, you know, all the types of things that we need right now as we need to really stay glued together. There's a lot of things that are fraying our entire community, and the LGBT community here. In fact, one of the interesting things I was going to say before, but people come down to Key West and they say, well, you're not gay anymore. Well, it's not that we're not gay anymore, but the gay community is integrated into our entire society. You know, we are a solid part of Key West and a contributing part, and a very important part. But the Equality Florida is such an important group because it keeps reminding us how important it is that we're all inclusive, that we're all caring for each other, and we're all fighting for the rights of every single individual in our community. So it's more important now than ever.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that there's something that, you know, Equality Florida and frankly, the gay community in general has always been very good at organizing and at actually getting things done in some ways. You know, it's funny. I was in New York during the beginning of the AIDS crisis, and you know, Anthony Fauci now, of course, is front and center with this issue. And even from those days, I can't imagine a better medical leader to have working for us. And I think that he's sort of emblematic of the let's get it done attitude that Equality Florida and the LGBT community have often had. And I'm very proud to be part of it. And I'm also really thrilled that our Congresswoman, Debbie McCarcel-Powell, has been chosen as your honoree this year, because she's been a real advocate and for us, great to work with.
Yeah, you couldn't have picked a better person. Congresswoman McCarcel-Powell has been our one voice in Washington, D.C. that said, look, we need help for the small business, the little guy, the independent business. And that's what Key West is. So she has been our voice. She really has, and done a wonderful job for us.
A voice for equality.
Yep. I love it. And I kind of just really quickly, I want to hit back to on points both of you made just around, you know, Equality Florida's role right now, but also, you know, because we are right now in the middle of this crisis and we are trying to, you know, our best to provide resources for the community. But also we haven't stopped our other work that we're doing. And that includes, you know, Mayor Carruthers, I think you mentioned this, that our opponents, you know, they're continuing their anti-LGBTQ attacks against us. And so we have very much, you know, stayed in that position as well, fighting back against those attacks on our community. And so, you know, doing that alongside of all of the resource work for the coronavirus too. So thank you so much for mentioning that. I know that's things that both of you two are working on as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I would love to ask both of you just one final question. If you could send any message to not just your constituents, but really LGBTQ Floridians, in light of this moment, in light of this time, what would you want them to hear from you? What maybe encouragement or yeah, just what message would you send to LGBTQ Floridians right now? And I don't know which one wants to go first. Maybe Mayor Carruthers this time.
Sure. Well, the first message is stay safe. You know, keep your distance, wash your hands. Remember that you are safer at home for now. Keep your spirits up and reach out to other people who might be suffering and having anxiety even more than you are right now. The fight goes on, and we can't let our guard down because, as you mentioned, the other folks are not. But we're going to get through this. We always do get through these kinds of crises, and we'll come out stronger on the other end. Certainly, I know that I have learned an awful lot about the human spirit and about systems and about administrations, et cetera, through this and viruses. That most people have not, but we will get through this together. And, you know, keep up the good work for equality that Equality Florida has been doing. And I know it's tough to give right now. Nobody's asking for a ton of money, but anything that people can give would be appreciated.
Thank you.
And I would like to say that we do. This is a time of deep reflection, I think, for all of us. Everything has paused. So it gives us a time to think about our lives and think about where we want to do, what's important to us, who the people are that are important in our life. And it is time to reach out. You know, we're so used to hurricanes here. And hurricane at this point is a piece of cake, you know, because it has a start and it has a finish, and you look out your door and your roof is gone and you take these measures and you correct those. This is something very different, as Heather has mentioned, because this is a marathon. And right now what we're trying to do is we're trying to balance the health and safety of our residents with bringing back an economy. And that takes an incredible amount of balance. But what we need to do is right now, it is safer at home. We do need to keep each other safe, both physically and emotionally. We're going to build back our economy, and we're going to do it. We're going to come back bigger and better than we were before. But everybody, please, you know, reach out when you need it. If you can give it, please give it. But everybody can do something to improve somebody's life today.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and I keep going back to Hannah's hat. It says "Love wins," right, Hannah? Does that? Love is love. Yes, and you know, again, Hannah and I were together during the massacre at Pulse, but that time and right now, again, it just shows how resilient the LGBTQ community is, and how, you know, how much we lift each other up and support one another. And you always see that in Key West. And so just, again, thank you both so much for being here and to, you know, lifting up your voices and lifting up the voices of your constituents as well.
Thank you so much. And please, people, everyone that's watching, if you can give, please give.
And thank you very much. And next year we'll do it in person.
Yes, please. We can segment, and Hannah and I have already signed up. So
thank you so much. We really appreciate you joining us. Take care.
Thank you.
Gosh, Florida Keys are in good hands.
Right? I know. Absolutely. They are. Those are two of my heroes. You know.
Yeah. It really is inspiring to be able to zoom into the folks who are holding the line at the local level, and to have those two powerhouse mayors at the helm. It just makes me feel really grateful. So
absolutely. Same.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in. All of our viewers that are watching. I love seeing the live comments ticking through. It's so fun. We do want to remind you, of course, that we've got a very special opportunity for folks who are able to donate today. The AIDS Healthcare Foundation, through their partnership, has allowed every single dollar given to be matched dollar for dollar through our Florida AIDS Walk team. The information's on your screen for how to donate. You can go to equalityflorida.org/equalitylive to pitch in now. But the good news is, beyond that match, your gift can be quadrupled today because of very generous support from the John D. Evans Foundation and our donors being able to offer that quadruple match. So it really is a unique opportunity to fuel the fight for equality here in the Sunshine State. And we really can only do that with your support. So thank you so much in advance for giving what you can.
Yes, definitely. And Hannah, I just want to take a moment to say how grateful I am to be with you, to be with the Key West community today. It is just absolutely, you know, made my year. So love being here with you. But I do think it's time now to get back to some entertainment. What do you think?
I'm ready to be entertained.
Are you?
Yeah.
I need to feel it, Hannah. Are you really? Are you ready?
To be entertained. Yes.
Awesome. Well, I am super excited to bring to the stage and introduce our second entertainer for the hour, voted Kansas City's best musician in 2018 and 2019. Please welcome to the stage singer and harpist Calvin Arsenia. Calvin, are you there?
Hello. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
We are
so happy and cheery and amazing. Oh, so great.
We're just having the time of our lives, and we are extra excited to bring you into the fun. Thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, we will turn it over to you to do your thing.
Take it away, friend.
I will sing for you. You can tell who you fall in love with. You can tell who you fall in love with. Before I knew it, I had stumbled over you. Before I knew it, I was midair. I couldn't possibly get over you. and you somehow met me there. You can't help who you fall in love with. Da, da, da. Baby, can't you see I'm calling? A guy like you should wear a warning. You're dangerous, I'm falling. There's no escape, I can't wait. I need a hit, baby, give me it. You're dangerous, and I'm loving it. Too high, I can't come down. You got my head spinning round and round. Do you feel me now? Taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. Your toxic comes slipping under the taste of your poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, but you know that you're toxic. It's getting late to give you up. I took a sip from my devil's cup. Slowly, it's taking over me. It's taking over me. You're taking over me. Too high, I can't come down. It's in the air and it's all around. Do you feel me now? Oh, the taste of your lips, I'm on a ride. Your toxic comes and under the taste of your poison paradise. I'm addicted to you, but you know that you're toxic. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready now. I think I'm ready now. Intoxicate me now with your loving now. I think I'm ready. Oh, I think I'm ready. Oh, taste of your lips, I'm on the right. Your toxic comes slipping under the taste of your poison paradise. Thanks, guys, so much. My name is Calvin Arcenia. I come from Kansas City in the middle of the United States, and you can find me on Instagram is what I'm most active, Facebook, Twitter, and also subscribe to my email list. Thank you so much for having me, and continue to support a good cause.
Oh my gosh, Calvin, what?
I'm overwhelmed.
Hannah cannot even speak right now. And Calvin, I have to say, while you were performing, I received a text message from a staff member who said, so we're at the point in the show where I'm now twerking to a Britney Spears song on the harp. So
Yes.
Wow. Calvin, you brought it to us with Brittany, you know?
Yeah,
that was amazing. Thank you so much for being part of this with us. I think that this time is really providing these once in a lifetime opportunities to connect with people from so far away that you may never have gotten a chance to be connected to. And I feel that particular gratitude for you right now. So thank you so much.
Likewise, you guys are awesome.
Oh.
Let's hang out after this, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Love it.
Thank you, Calvin.
Yeah, thank
Take
you.
care, Calvin.
Oh my gosh.
I'm overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed.
That was so good. It really was. I think it brought all the life. I thought it was our hats, but it wasn't. It was Calvin.
I thought it was our hats, but it was Calvin all along.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Well, Hannah, I do want to go back to the point you were just making too about togetherness and staying connected. And that was a lot of what Mayor Carruthers and Johnston were also speaking about. And, you know, Equality Florida, that's really what we've been trying to do throughout this time of crisis as well. And one of the ways we've been able to do that is by connecting over 150 LGBTQ leaders across the state to put together a resource guide around the coronavirus. It's LGBTQ focused. And so, you know, I really encourage folks to check it out. You can go to equalityflorida.org and find that resource guide there. But I just also want you all to know that your Equality Florida team is always here for you. And we're working every day to make sure that you all have the resources that you need during this time. So again, that's part of what today's all about as well. It's about providing you resources, but it's also about, you know, that connectedness and being together, just like I get to connect with my wonderful friend Hannah. So love it.
It's been way too long since we've gotten to actually hug in person, but this is like a nice little thing to tide us over, I think, until that will happen again. And I do think that what you're saying too is really important about the new work that Equality Florida has taken on in this time of crisis. I mean, there is no better organization to serve as a connector right now and a real resource hub for the LGBTQ community. But, you know, you said earlier, it's not like y'all have stopped doing what you always do. I mean, this is just really, and I think really amplified the need for the work that Equality Florida does throughout the year. And we're about to get to talk to one of my favorite programs that Equality Florida has, which, you know, really I think is doing the work of changing the face of Florida. But to bring it back to what you were saying earlier, we did work together during the Pulse Massacre in 2016. I live in Orlando. It's my hometown. And it was one of those moments in history, but especially for our community, where I think we all really had to take stock of what mattered most and really take stock of what it was that was the most important work that we could be doing. And I remember at a meeting soon after, Nadine, our executive director, said the most important thing we could be doing really was uprooting hatred and bigotry at the source, uprooting bigotry and prejudice of all kinds. And I can't think of a better program than the Safe and Healthy Schools Project to be doing that work, which launched right after the Pulse tragedy in 2016. So we're going to have Dee Palazzo and Ian Silvestrum join us, the fearless leaders of the Safe and Healthy Schools.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Well, good afternoon, Key West and all of Florida. My name is Dee Palazzo. I'm Safe Schools Director with Equality Florida, and my pronouns are she, her, and hers. I am super happy to have meet with you and connect with you and have fun with you, talk about safe schools.
Amazing.
Absolutely. And I love the fact that based on the last session and you two as the host, I'm like, you know, for Key West, we're really leaning into Lesbian Day of Visibility, and I am living for it. So
we are.
Love it.
Here's to that, Ian.
Awesome.
Well, you take it away and have fun.
Well, Ian and I come to you as teachers. Myself, I was a teacher in Broward County Schools and loved it a lot in Fort Lauderdale. And Ian was a teacher in Duval and Jacksonville. And with that, we bring a definite teacher mentality that we like to interact in ways that are both fun and educational. So what we'd like to begin with is a couple of photos to share with you of just us doing our education thing.
Okay, so for my photo, I have to explain, Dee. So this was my first year teaching. And so, you know, as a first year teacher, you're just kind of in survival mode. And so my intentions was, let me have everyone just do work on an index card, and I can just grade the index cards. And this is me clearly overwhelmed as 3 months into the school year, like, what have I gotten myself into? But it really, you know, it really, right. But it really speaks to just our teachers now. I mean, the idea of everyone shifting to online platform and having maybe never worked on an online setting before, our teachers are constantly expected to just do whatever they can to do the best for kids. And so I am always appreciative for the work of our teachers and just so love being a part of this program.
Me too. Me too. I totally feel the same way, Ian. So this photo of me is a lot of fun. And when I was in Broward Schools, I organized a lot of Gay Straight Student Alliance leadership summits, which I absolutely loved doing because this was when youth were able to get together. They had voice, they had camaraderie, they were able to meet people from other students from other schools across all of Florida. And this is me actually hanging out with a couple of students in my role as Safe Schools Director. And I was just about to give a little training there to all of the students. So, you know, a shout out and thanks to Broward, as always, for their fine work of keeping our students connected and affirmed. So speaking of that, feeling connected and affirmed, and Ian and I being teachers, we really love now to engage you in an Equality Florida Live little virtual fun classroom.
Yeah.
And here's how it goes. Right now, what I'm going to ask you to do is in your live chat area, I'm going to ask you to please type in the name of a teacher who impacted you the most when you were growing up. So if we can see that area flood with that teacher that stands out to you, that you remember, that really impacted you the most, that would be awesome. And I'm going to look at some of the live comments, hopefully, as it comes in. Yeah,
absolutely.
Keep it coming.
And Dee, as people are typing in the teacher that impacted them the most, do you want to speak a little bit to why teachers are so important as being allies to our students?
Yes, definitely. You know, teachers are the first line that our young people see. They build relationships with our students. And research, both on the ground and just narrative, says that the first people young people, our LGBTQ young people, go to for support are their peers and social media. The second always is our teachers. Those teachers are a lifeline to our students. So we lift up teachers all over Florida and all over the nation for sure.
Wonderful. And I can see a lot of people are typing in. Someone typed in Mr. Nye. If it's Bill Nye, I am so jealous, but I'm assuming it's not. But hey, you never know.
Awesome. Francis Urista. I see a lot of different names. Awesome.
Miss Hood. Amazing.
Great. So Ian, you want to take it?
Yeah, sure. So we actually have a second question that we want everyone to type in for. So hearing that we are doing work across the state, hearing that we are working to support our LGBTQ youth in our schools, our second question is, what percentage of youth do you believe in high school in the state of Florida identify as LGBTQ? So go ahead and just type in a percentage. What percentage of youth in high school here in our state do you believe identify as LGBTQ? And you can just type it into the live comments.
Right. We want to see that. Take a guess. We're surely going to tell you, but take a guess. We'd love to see what you think. And there's more than what you think.
We got 35%. Someone guessed 15.
4%. 12%. Awesome.
You know, before I share what the percentage is, and Dee, please reiterate if this is a phenomenon that you see. Oftentimes, I will hear in the exact same school, someone will say, well, I don't think we have any LGBTQ youth in our school.
Right.
And then someone else on that same staff in the exact same school might say, no, we have like 35% of our kids who identify as LGBTQ. And what I think that always speaks to is just the idea that many of our kids, they will only share that information with the people who they feel as though they can do it safely with. And so the actual number here in our state is 15.7 to 21.5% of youth self-identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, or unsure of their sexual orientation. So that's really 1 in 5 of our kids who are self-identifying. And then on top of that, one of our counties, Broward County Public Schools, actually asked the question, what percentage of youth identify as transgender? And when they asked the high school students that question, it was actually 3.7% of kids. So it's a lot of kids who we are really trying to build that support for and build the understanding within our school districts as to how can we best support our kids. So the next chart that we're going to pull up, I want to speak to a little bit. And this is where this data comes from. So this is the Florida Youth Risk Behavior Survey. So when you look at this data, you can see in the year 2017, when it was asked of high school age students, the discrepancy between and the disparity between our LGB youth in the dark green and their heterosexual peers in the light lime green. And what you can see is about 1 in 4 of our LGB youth attempted suicide last school year. So a frequent thing that I hear all the time is, it's not an issue anymore. The kids are so much more accepting. And what I tell people and what we emphasize in our trainings is we always try to share, it's not about our perception of whether or not things have gotten better, whether or not things have changed. It is about what our students are sharing. And you can see from a lot of these data points, be it depression, physical dating violence, self-harm, and even into substance abuse, our LGB youth are really starkly experiencing some negative experiences compared to their heterosexual peers. And although this doesn't talk about our trans youth, which is a limitation of the survey in 2017, we do know when we look at national data, the experiences of our trans youth is really significantly worse than even our LGB youth. So it really is something that we're trying to be really aware of. And me and Dee have talked about us being teachers, but really, Dee, I have a question for you. Is there any way that you can maybe dive into a little bit more of how do we do this work systemically so that our school districts are being more responsive to this data?
Yeah, absolutely, Ian. This data is so sobering to me and sobering to our staff, but most importantly, it's sobering to our principals and our administrators and our superintendents. So what are we doing? Yeah, it's imperative that our LGBTQ youth and families have voice and agency, and we do that through our Safe Schools work. And we are all over the state, literally, from the Panhandle down to the beautiful Keys as a team, etc. And we're making those changes to this data. I think that is really important. So how are we doing it? Really a number of ways, but the ways that will stand out here is we're doing a lot of professional development, which is sensitivity and empathy building, culturally competent professional development. And so far, I am so happy to share that we have trained 22,260 folks across this state. And these are principals, assistant principals, social workers, counselors, teachers, nurses, etc. And that's really
Say that
important.
number again, Dee, because that is huge.
Yeah, it's 22260, 22,260. I keep track of this. And this is right before COVID, right? So a lot more happening. We also work with our Gay Straight Student Alliance clubs, or our gender and sexuality clubs, also known as Y. These are lifelines for our young people, without a doubt. And we make sure that they're supported, active, and resourced. And then lastly, and this is incredibly important, we're on the ground working, giving resources, creating documents, sharing consultancy, doing crisis work regularly. We are not flying high, we're deeply inside the districts. And when I think about this, Ian, even more, I am particularly focused, we are as a Safe and Healthy Schools Department, we're particularly focused on the realities of students are contending with during this pandemic, right? 3 weeks ago, I'm happy to say that we convened a call with a large number of youth-serving agencies that are in the state of Florida to catalog these LGBTQ youth-serving agencies' unique experiences that LGBTQ students were dealing with. And then we shared this information across the state with high-level officials. We heard right from our students that were struggling about being home in a number of households that were not supportive, dealing with food insecurities, dealing with anxiety, dealing with depression, and sometimes wanting to run away. This was not all of our students at all, but this was a significant number of students. So this is really important. They miss their LGBTQ friends at school and feel very isolated. What we then did from that is that just last week, we also convened another critical group. And through our collaborative reach across the state, we virtually brought together over 50 district leaders from 24 school districts. And the purpose of bringing them together virtually was to hear their needs, press on them to take action and care for our youth, and work side by side with them together to develop educational continuity plans for these students. That call was very exciting because there was a lot of cross-pollination from district to district. So our sole agenda, as we know, is on the Safest Healthy Schools team is to change the landscape of Florida. So every single student feels safe, valued, connected, can have fun, grow, and graduate on time. And the work should be institutionalized and operationalized. It's just not at the top. We're working inside these districts. So I'm all excited about that. As you can see, I'm very passionate about this work. I'm going to pass it over to you, Ian.
It is so amazing. And I think when we look at how this is being replicated district to district, and we actually have a map that we're going to go ahead and pull up for everyone to see. You will be able to see that the impact that we are having when you look at this map is just really, it's hard to bring into perspective. So what you're looking at right now is the map of our work that has really just occurred in the last about 3.5 years. And so the districts that you see in green are those districts that we are working with on a very consistent basis, maybe even weekly basis, if not more, to really institutionalize, develop language so that the district, every single school is operating with the same language to support our LGBTQ youth, and really have so many pieces in place to be able to support our kids. Our yellow districts are all the districts where we have been able to build connections, and we continue to build stronger relationships with the district, especially in a lot of times that very first piece, which is professional development. And then the red districts are those districts that we're just kind of cracking into and trying to work with. And so really it's 63 of 67. 63 of 67 districts, or about 2.5 million students, that we are building a strong, deep, consistent level of training, of professional development, of really relationship building, so that everyone understands this work really is about school culture. This work is about classroom climate, and how to ensure that every single child feels affirmed in their schools. And you know, me and Dee started this presentation with the fact that we are teachers is because we really value that lens that we are able to bring to this work, because we did see the needs of our students and understood how to navigate the Florida public education system while being responsive to that. So this map, I think, is huge. And Dee, is there anything else you'd like to share related to it?
No, one thing I want to say is it's not easy to work in some of our rural, more conservative districts, but we have broken in, not all of them, but many of them. And especially in the last 8 to 9 months, I'm concerned about all of our youth, but I'm deeply concerned about our youth that are very isolated, that don't have role models in some of our smaller, more conservative districts. And we can't stereotype these districts. There are some small rural districts that are rocking, for sure.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, so what I'd love to be able to talk to a little bit is another really cool thing that has taken place yearly. And it is an amazing conference that is now in its 6th year, entitled the All Together Now Conference. And this is a shot from it. Right up there are superintendents that are speaking. This conference is hosted by Equality Florida and 4 fantastic school districts: Pasco, Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. This year, we had 39 school districts there, and it represented 225 school upper-level officials. And I'm not talking just teachers. Who was there were change makers. These were SUPs, superintendents, associate superintendents, school board members, school attorneys, counselors, student services directors. And what was so important for our team is we found this to be a true cross-pollination, where districts were speaking to districts about what they could do to improve the well-being, the equity, and the resilience of this group of young people. There were breakout sessions, there were speakers, and it was really total on-the-ground work where our districts came together. And it was phenomenal. It was a two-day event, and we look forward to it next year as well. So I definitely wanted to speak to that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Dee, I believe we have our guest today was previously at the All Together Now on our superintendent panel, correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's a great segue, Ian, and thank you so much. Speaking of amazing districts, right? And we have a lot of them across the state. Broward County Schools in Fort Lauderdale is the pinnacle, to me, of gold star support for our LGBTQ students, staff, and families. Broward is known to be one of the 5 best districts in the nation, and certainly Gold Star District, the best district in the state, which is so fantastic. They're known to leave no stone unturned when it's about protecting our students, and I am thrilled to share with you that we have a guest of honor from Broward County Public Schools with us today to perfectly round out this Safe and Healthy Schools segment, and it is none other than who I was able to work underneath in a leader as he was leading district, and this is Superintendent Runcie in Broward County. Superintendent Runcie is coming on now, and Mr. Runcie, we're so excited to have you with us. Thank you for taking time out of your Sunday. Thank you for caring about us, and I'm going to give you the floor, sir.
Well, I can think of nothing better to do this Sunday than to spend some time with you. And first, let me honor you. When I came to Broward in 2011, it was just a year after that one of the, I think, the greatest milestones I think in my career I've been associated with. That was when we were able to issue the Broward County Public Schools LGBTQ Critical Support Guide, which is online, which basically outlines all the rights and privileges of our LGBTQ students, staff, and families. We put this out there in 2012, and I can remember one of the ceremonies we had at Northern Trust. It was just really a great unfolding. And it's really now served as a model for other districts. So we're super proud of that. And it was developed in a collaborative way with our staff, community members, parents, attorneys, and absolutely students. We update it frequently, as you know, by members of the Safe to Be Me Coalition and our superintendent's LGBTQ roundtable. So just wanted to give you a shout out for the great work you did in Broward to help lay that foundation so that we have become the kind of district we are today in terms of supporting our youth.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it very much. Right. So Superintendent Runcie, would you like to speak to some of those points that that would come up around our LGBTQ youth and why you believe this type of work across the state is important?
Yeah. Absolutely. So let me just first say that, in this moment that we're in with and dealing with this global pandemic, one thing we know is that this virus doesn't discriminate based on your race, your sexual orientation, your gender, your status, whether you're rich or you're poor. I really think it just underscores that we're all in this together as part of this human race. And we need to recognize that, one person's action affects someone. So we're all inextricably linked. And we need to create an environment that's fair and equitable, that supports everyone in our community. And so what we do in Broward County is a number of things to make sure that our LGBTQ youth who are part of our Broward family, that there are lots of activities and supports that we put in place. So it's not just lip service, it's part of our culture. You mentioned climate before. climate starts with leadership at the top. And I can tell you that I, as a superintendent, and our school board collectively are very supportive of our LGBTQ students, and equity is a cornerstone agenda for this district. So during the school year, resources for our LGBTQ youth are distributed through our LGBTQ coordinator, Keisha Gilliard. And by the way, she's been doing an amazing job supporting our students throughout the district and our GSAs. We have GSAs in all of our middle schools and high schools, and we host biannual GSA summits in the district. During those GSA summits, our students learn strategies to advocate for inclusion. They are provided with resources with social, emotional, and physical health resources by not only the district, but also some of our community partners. Staff can also participate in LGBTQ professional development. You'd mentioned that earlier, the development that needs to occur. Even though our campuses are closed, our education still continues. So we will provide that resource and make it available virtually so that that kind of professional development goes on. And I can tell you, when we switched over to this virtual environment, yes, we wanted to make sure that our kids and our families were being fed. We served over 500,000 meals so far at our feeding sites around the county. We've made sure that every student is connected who needs computer and internet access. We've distributed about 90,000 computer laptops to our students, provided low discounted internet services and free service to those students who need it. We also, during the first weeks of at-home learning, provided a list of mental health and social health services for LGBTQ students, and they were distributed to our GSA advisors and students throughout the district. Our GSAs have been encouraged to continue meeting virtually and connecting. We know those relationships are extremely significant, especially in this period of time, as you noted, that our schools are closed. We have to step it up and do extra in terms of our efforts to make sure that there are opportunities for them to connect, online. And so online resources for socializing have been provided to our GSAs, also through our community organizations and some national organizations. All of our LGBT youth also have access to free mental health services from licensed clinicians at one of our extremely important community partners, and that's SunServe through their youth department. They've been enormously helpful in helping us. And then finally, we're really excited about the partnership with the Stonewall National Museum and Archives, and we're able to now provide all of our students with free access to their libraries and resources. So our work continues day after day in Broward County to make sure that at every opportunity that we are connecting services to our students. We have adults within our schools who support our LGBTQ youth to make sure that there's always a resource, there's always someone they can go to. We've created specific IDs for adults where, these badges you have on so they know that they can go and talk to certain folks. I make sure that I wear it around the district to set an example so that any youth that has any concerns or needs someone to talk to, they can talk to me, they can talk to staff at our schools. But we want to be and have been a very inclusive community. That doesn't mean we're complacent. There's always more work that we can do, and we need to continue pushing the envelope until every single student feels that they're included, they're loved, they're supported, and that the schools are the safest and most loving and embracing place for them to be.
Superintendent Runcie, it's amazing the work that's going on in your vision around equity for all students, not just LGBTQ students, and the idea that you talked about resources and visibility, which is so critical. Wearing that badge, having your LGBTQ point persons in your district, that is what we strive for in districts across the state as well. As I shared, you're definitely a gold mark that we all go by, and we're working on this in all districts across the state. It's so important, especially in this time where our young people feel isolated. and our trans youth and our LGBT youth are sometimes at home in where there's tension and there's conflict, etc. I wanted to ask you, sir, as we think about our work across the state and your work that's going, I know that you speak to a lot of principals and you know a lot of leaders. I wonder what might be a message that you might have for other superintendents or upper level leadership that are making decisions across the state pertaining to the equity and well-being of young people, not only during COVID, but after COVID. I'm curious as to, what advice or what thoughts you may have in that arena.
Yeah, so first of all, this work is the right thing to do. We have a moral responsibility to make sure that we're serving all of our students. But let's say you're just interested in academic performance, your school grades, your district grades. Well, you need to be focused on this topic. As you mentioned earlier, 1 in 5 students, identify as LGBTQ. So that's a significant portion of our student population. And if we're going to have districts that are going to serve the needs of the students, if we're going to move academic achievement, we have got to make sure that we're addressing the psychological and social, emotional, and mental health needs of our students first. Relationships matter, your culture matters, your environment matters, and that is the foundation for student success. Once you take care of that, the sky's the limit in terms of what they can do academically. So on every level and metric that you could look at, it makes sense to do these kind of investments. It makes sense to create the infrastructure and supports for our students. It's just, it just makes good common sense, I believe. And that's my message to superintendents. And that's what I express to them all the time. And I always thrilled when we get contacted by other districts who want to know what we're doing. I get on the phone and I talk to the superintendents. And I encourage them, hey, look, we'll give you access to every resource we have. Why don't you come down and take a visit and see how things are going in Broward County? I think you'll be pleasantly surprised of what that can mean for your district were you to undertake some of the same things.
That's awesome. I mean, Superintendent Runcie, you began with saying it's the right thing to do. And it is. We have to lead with our hearts and lead with remembering that our young people can't feel safe and connected until they feel like they belong and they're affirmed. We so appreciate you being on our Equality Live today. Thank you so much for joining us on Sunday. You led with saying that there's no other place you would rather be, and we appreciate so much. Thank you for your leadership not only in Florida and the nation, for all of our students. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Superintendent Runcie.
Thank you, and I appreciate all that you guys do to support our kids and our communities. It makes all the difference in the world. God bless you all.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Same to you, sir.
Thank you so much.
So we are wrapping up our Safe and Healthy Schools Live section. We hope you enjoyed it. We gave you a lot of information, as 2 teachers would, without a doubt. And we're going to pass this back now. And we just hope that we want to say you are continue to support us. We certainly need it, without a doubt. We're running all over the state, and we're trying to change the minds and hearts of folks and make sure our young people stay connected so they thrive and graduate successfully and on time. I want to pass this over back to Hannah and Brittany, and we appreciate you all listening. Much love to Key West and all of Florida.
Wait, and Ian, did I hear that you all have trained over 22,000 school officials? Wait, 22,000.
Yes.
That is amazing.
In a short amount of time, too.
Exactly. Well, that was amazing. Thank you both so much for that presentation. And again, to Superintendent Robert Runcie for joining us as well.
Absolutely. We love Mr. Runcie so much.
He's a star. And so are you too.
Yeah. Thank you very much. We love being here with you. Thank you for giving us the platform to talk.
Absolutely.
Have fun. Have a good rest of your day. Enjoy watching.
Yes.
Thanks, everybody.
That was so amazing. It really is just, it's the kind of inspiring, grounding work of the Safe and Healthy Schools Project that just gets me really jazzed to talk about what kind of impact Equality Florida is having across the state. It's really incredible.
Absolutely. And my mom's a public school teacher. And so the work that they do, I mean, I feel every bit of it. And I'm always talking to my mom about it as well. She actually teaches in Georgia, not in Florida, but I'm always kind of bringing those ideas. I'm like, you know, Georgia needs a D and E and a safe and healthy schools team to help them out. So
I think we do. We need 49 more D's and Ians to just spread all across the country. Yes, I love it.
Well, and you know, I do want to take a quick minute as well to say a really big thank you to all of our supporters and to the community who have given and who have allowed this program to take off. We can only do this work because of you. And I also just want to take a second to, you know, give a special shout out to the folks who have put Equality Florida into their will and are a part of our legacy society. Those are folks who have taken, again, the profound step of including Equality Florida into their will or their estate plan. And we can really think of no greater compliment than to have made our mission you know, a part of your legacy to the world. And we are really humbled and grateful that you all have included us. I mean, if you're someone who has included us in your estate plan, you know, we want to know about it because we want to be able to thank you all too. And so we're really excited to announce that we've actually just launched a partnership with Free Will. So if you go to equalityflorida.org/legacy, you can find out more information if you're interested in joining our Legacy Society. But we just, you know, again, I just appreciate each and every one of you, those who are part of our Legacy Society, our volunteers, our donors, the folks who have joined us today in beautiful Key West. We thank you all so, so, so much.
Yeah, what an amazing way to really be able to leave a legacy, to have an impact long after you're here. It's really special to have so many folks. I mean, you saw all the names on that photo, to have that many people saying that they want to further the work of Equality Florida in perpetuity is really inspiring, really beautiful.
Absolutely.
And to have all of you here watching, I mean, we said earlier that we know that now is a time that there is so much fear, so much uncertainty, and so much loss. And you all joining us today really does mean so much. We know that not everyone can give, not everyone is able to make a financial gift right now. But for those of you that are able to, we so appreciate in advance absolutely anything that you can give. $1, $5, $20. When your gift can be quadrupled thanks to the AIDS Healthcare Foundation partnership, that really is an opportunity to take advantage of. We're so grateful to the John D. Evans Foundation, the AIDS Healthcare Foundation, our donors who've been able to make this match possible, to have your gift quadrupled. When you go to eqfl.org/equalitylive, you can find out more information about how to make your gift today. And I would just say, you know, I feel like I've got a little bit of a unique vision here, a little unique perspective working for a national partner organization to Equality Florida. Y'all are lucky to have Equality Florida at the helm in this state. This organization is incubating some of the best strategies for advancing equality, developing resources, developing best practices, and really moving the needle in the Sunshine State in an exciting way. And I get to talk to folks all across the country who are also learning from the good work that Equality Florida does and bringing those real best practices to states across the country. It's a really powerful impact that Equality Florida is able to have. And you're able to be part of it today. You have the opportunity to be part of that impact today and to really have your donation make as much of an impact as possible by having it quadrupled, right, Brittany? Like, who would believe given an opportunity?
I know. It's so rare. And again, just, you know, Hannah, we miss you on staff, obviously, but we are so grateful that you're just in Orlando and we get to work with you all the time being a part of, you know, Freedom for All Americans. So shout out to them and the amazing work that, you know, you all are doing too. We love you guys.
Thank you. That's very sweet. It's exciting to get to talk about Equality Florida and everything that y'all are doing today too.
Yeah. And just a reminder to folks as well, we do actually have a silent auction happening right now. So we have lots of goodies. I mean, Hannah and I are currently in paradise, but you know, for other folks, go on. We have lots of vacations that you all can, you know, plan. Obviously, we're still in this, you know, time of social distancing, but when you get that opportunity, 7 nights in Antigua, I mean, who wouldn't want that? So please, please go on to equalityflorida.org/equalitylive and you can donate and bid from there. Yeah, go bid right now.
Well, there's amazing vacation packages like going to Antigua. There's also some beautiful art. And I don't know about you, but I have really been enjoying making my home an oasis. So if you need to freshen things up, redecorate, you got opportunities to get some excellent art at our silent auction online. So check it out. That's a really exciting thing. I'm glad you brought that up because it's really cool to get to see what kind of treasures you can snag online.
And speaking of treasure, one other thing that you can bid on is a lunch with Nadine Smith, our executive director. So, I mean,
what more could you want?
National treasure, not just from Florida. Oh, well, Hannah, I think our time is coming to an end, and I'm so sad. I've enjoyed every second of this and miss you and love you so much.
Thank you. And I love you, and I love the team at Equality Florida. And this really has been such a unique opportunity to get to connect with you and connect with people that we would have not had the opportunity to talk to and hear their music. I mean, Calvin, Colleen, to talk to the mayors down in Key West. This time is really special to get to connect and figure out ways to be just sending each other love, sending each other gratitude.
And a lot of extra love to the Key West community right now. I mean, thank you all for tuning in today and joining me and Hannah. You have made this time extra special. So thank you again. We love your support and we love all of you.
So we're about to go a little bit further north, right? We're going to go
party. I hear the music, I think, actually.
Yeah, it sounds like merengue, maybe a little bachata. I don't know. We're going to Miami.
Hey. Yes.
Oh, lady, what is going on in Key West? What is up in Key West?
You know,
exactly. And you know, my drink's a little empty, so I think I might need a little refresher.
Yeah, you probably need to tap out. I don't know how you survived one drink in that 90-minute segment. There was so much going on.
Who said you had one drink, Brandon?
You know what? I wondered if you popped off screen for a moment. I saw you. I don't know about anybody else, but I was quite literally twerking on the couch to Calvin, The Sounds of the Harp. I mean, I never thought in my lifetime Britney Spears on the harp, but it's Equality Live. Anything can happen.
Anything's possible.
Well, we are so excited to see what's up in Miami. We know that you two will take it from here, and we're really excited. Thank you so much.
Love you guys. Good luck.
Good job, ladies. You were amazing.